Hi, everyone. My name is Angela Kaiko. I've been a driver with Uber for almost 7 years here in Buffalo, New York, and I've given almost 12,000 trips. Most of them are passenger trips. I'm also a crew member in the Uber Crew program, a feedback program for drivers to help make improvements in the app. As a driver experienced with the Uber app, I'd like to tell you about how I use the many features available and the strategies that me and other Uber crew drivers use to help maximize our earnings. So first of all, get to know the app. For example, I like to use the earnings trends when deciding where to start my day or when I want to find out where the most rider activity is likely to be. The gray heat map helps me make decisions on where I will start the day and when I decide to go out and earn. And I can see peak hours for arriving flights at our local airport in there too. Here in Buffalo, the Opportunity Center helps because it will tell me when there are events at the handful of major concert venues that we have here. So during the summer, when we're packed full of shows, it's helpful to me to be able to see all those shows in one place. Staying on top of the inbox and the feed notifications also helps me be regularly updated on when or where I can anticipate making the most money. So, for example, I'll receive an inbox notification telling me that the prime times to earn in upstate New York this week are 5 to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday. So that way I can plan my week accordingly. Another tip is to trust the process. I've learned over the years that short rides are just as lucrative as longer rides, so I just accept every ride that comes through. The shorter rides also give you an opportunity to quickly connect with that passenger who might be more inclined to leave you a tip since their ride hadn't been very expensive to begin with. I also try not to pay attention to my earnings hourly or daily because sometimes riders don't put the tip through right away, or due to some other circumstances, I might have a slow day. But once I discovered when the most common slow days and times were in my area, I was able to set up specific blocks of time to drive. At the end of the work week, I'll divide my total earnings by the number of hours I worked to get the most accurate total of what I made that week. And typically, those slow hours and those slow days end up evening themselves out, and all the rides help me to reach my financial goals. When I decide where, when to drive and where to drive, what works for other drivers in other areas might not work for you, but don't let that get you discouraged. So, for example, a commonplace drivers might think to start their workday is the airport. But our airport here in Buffalo is very small, and the demand there is usually slow. Also, the hotspots in your city might be different than other cities. For example, if you live near any event centers or tourist attractions. So here in Buffalo, we're less than half an hour from Niagara Falls. So on long weekends or nice weather days, I might head over to the falls where I know there will be a hotspot or maybe even a surge. So there will be some trial and error, but you'll catch on quickly. Um, Another important thing to remember is to connect with your passengers. So, connecting with your passengers can lead to your success as a driver. It's important to care for the comfort of the passengers since they'll be sitting in your own car. Striking up conversations with your passengers can be a great way to gauge how to make them more comfortable. My trademark opening line when a ride starts is, "What are you up to today?" It's an inviting, open-ended question that helps me determine if the passenger is looking for conversation. So if they respond, nothing, it usually means they'd like a quiet ride. Or if they respond, oh, I'm just going to work. How's your day going? We strike up a conversation. So it's all about recognizing social cues. A common complaint I hear from passengers about rides they've had in the past is the lack of music. If your rider is not conversational, sitting in silence can be awkward. In my car, I play hip hop and top 40 music. I just think that music is a key ingredient to good vibes on your rides. It's also a good idea to learn things about the nightlife in your city that you might not have already known. So I pay attention to social media to see what's going on, and I talk to passengers, and I've learned what events are happening around town each week and even each day. So if I get passengers from out of town, or maybe a local passenger looking for something to do on a Tuesday night, I can give them recommendations. For example, I know to tell them that LB's Lounge has karaoke every Tuesday. So I hope these tips were helpful, and I wish you guys all the best as you get started on the Uber app.